Hey y'all, welcome back to the ranch. I'm Jared Paul, and today I'm doing a nice little update on the Planner's Choice Grow Kit. This bonsai starter kit is one that I started my bonsai journey with about 3 years ago in February 2018, and I did one back then, had relative success. So I've got some older trees of these species, and I also did one 2 years later on the anniversary. So those are nearing their first year of life. I did them in February of this year, 2020. So I just wanted to give you a little update on all four of the species and where I have them at. One species actually that I've never had success with in this kit is the Picea abies, the Norwegian spruce. However, I do have three really attractive Norwegian spruce that I've been growing that I got from a nursery a few years ago, and I've been growing them larger as Japanese garden trees, and they're down in my Japanese garden. So I wanted to start the introduction with those three trees. I did not start them from seed. Someone else did, but I have since pruned them in bonsai, nice weeping canopy style in order to make them look really their best in the Japanese garden. So they are over here. I have them broken down for winter. Normally I have them lined up here on this little entryway to the Japanese garden. So boom, boom. Got some big stumps in the off season. There was a bunch of huge storms here and a lot of tree work. So if you're willing to move them, you got some nice tree stumps. So here we go. I've grouped them together and buried them about 9 to 10 inches down into the bark mulch and huddled them all up. So you see this first one, he is really weeping out of the pot. We call that the Bob Marley tree. It looks like him with his dreads playing at a concert. I've got that one in the middle there. See, that one has a beautiful canopy, nice weeping style. Boom, boom. And then the third one here, that's vertical, but each branch coming off has its own nice area, and then it kind of weeps off at the top to the right. So I really, really like those. They're down here with a blue spruce that's in fugly stage but needs to grow out a bit, but that one will be attractive as well. So these have not been grown from the Planner's Choice Grow Kit, but that's something, that's a style, and that's something that you can achieve over a long period of time growing them from seed. If you get those to grow from seed, I've had a couple of them come up each time, and then they die off in the very early stages of being a seedling. So all right, so that's the Picea abies, but the rest of them, the Royal Poinsettia or Delonix Regia flame tree, that's coming up. Some Pinus aristata, some a baby, and then some that are a couple years old, and some blue Jacaranda. So that's what's coming up on today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. All right, so my 2-year-old Pinus aristatas, the Rocky Mountain pine, bristlecone pine, they are going to spend their first year outdoors for the winter. So I have everything set up here and really deep layer of bark mulch chips, all natural, and they're underneath and then surrounding as well. So they're not sitting directly on the ground, so the roots can stay a little bit warmer, not watered. So here we go. This is an untouched from February of 2018. Pinus aristata. I have this as a nice little specimen. I have not pruned it. No wiring. I don't really do wiring. And you see how slowly growing they are. So that's pretty cool. That one's coming up on 3 years old. And then over here, I have one in a group planting with a couple of Colorado blue spruce that I grew from seed. And that's right here. It's got some really gnarly roots down there, untouched as well. And I think that's a great selection on their part for a bonsai, actually, because I mean, it really is going to stay small and get really cool and gnarly for me. I mean, like to its left, this Japanese pine, that's probably a full year younger. And you see the size difference. So anyways, good choice. I have, I think, one baby that survived from the other planting, so I'll put that on this video as well. All right, so here is the only Rocky Mountain pine. I believe the only one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's the only one that I got to survive from this year in February when I did this Planter's Choice Grow Kit, Bonsai Starter Kit. And so this one is just too young to put in the Connecticut winter. I'm in like the cold quadrant of Connecticut, so it's actually a zone colder than most of Connecticut. And I just don't think it's old enough. So this one's going to hang out this year inside. The other ones, you know, they're going on 3 years old and they did fine doing 2 winters indoors. I might bring it down to the basement and let it get a little cooler. Yeah, I'll probably do that. But as you see, this thing is tiny for a while. This is pretty much what it looks like when it pops up. And then, let's see, shoot, we're at like 9 months old. It's still about the same size. The only difference is it starts to get some secondary growth coming out of the bud up top. All right, let's move on to the faster growing species in this grow kit, this awesome grow kit. Let's do the blue Jacaranda. All right, so here we have the blue Jacaranda. This thing really does like to reach for the sun. It also likes to get a nice hydration and then dry out in between waterings with standard fertilizer every 3 weeks or like a time release that lasts about 6 months. I'll show you in a little bit the one I'm going to use this time. Sprinkle that on top or incorporate with the soil if it's a new planting. I would not fertilize them when they're very young because it can tend to burn up the roots and kill it. So they don't need it in the very beginning. So don't try to do that in the beginning. So there's some more. That's a grouping of 3 blue Jacarandas. I'm waiting for the spring to prune those. So I'm hoping to let the growth go and get some thickness on the trunks in this winter. All right, so here we have that fertilizer. I picked it up very inexpensively, this Vigoro brand. I usually use Osmocote Plus, but it's about 4 times the price for seemingly the same effects. Slow release of nitrogen that comes in little pellets that you sprinkle on or incorporate with the soil. You see there on the side 16-4-8 for its nutrients. So yeah, I'm going to give it a go. It doesn't necessarily say indoor outdoor, but I'm just going to use it pretty much for everything. So here is my prize Delonix Regia. It's pretty much in its own version of dormancy right now. It's indoors year round. But its growth has really slowed and it's just kind of hanging out. It got a mild infestation of green aphids that I sprayed with some rosemary oil and natural dish soap, and that seemed to do the trick, but it fried a few of the lower branches and no new growth is kicked off in about, I'd say, a month. But it's holding steady. As you see, it looks nice. And here is one of the original cuttings. And you see I pruned everything off except for that little back budding there. I want to see if I can get that to grow in. Not that I really want to shorten this. It's in my Grow Crazy kind of cutting bucket. It's got a bunch of different crazy cuttings. But I would like to see some branching. It was just kind of getting leggy and reaching for the window. So prune that down. It also had a bit of those green aphids. So that's how I treated it. And down here we have a success story. These just kind of germinated themselves out of nowhere, maybe 6 months after I expected them to. So they popped up a bunch, all indoors, and they were getting really leggy. So them and those 2 avocado plants that I'm showing off there, I have in one big planting. I think there's between 7 and 9 Delonix Regia in there. And they all germinated from seed, so that's pretty cool. That thing needs some water for sure. Okay, that's my pineapple guava forest. And here we go. This is a Delonix Regia that actually grew outdoors. And that popped up out of nowhere in some soil that I must have stuck some seeds in. So anyways, that one's cool. All right, y'all, so that's going to do it for today's episode of Jarhead Bonsai. I hope you enjoyed yourself. That's the update on the Planter's Choice Bonsai Starter Kit. If you have any questions, I get plenty of them on this starter kit all the time. I'm more than happy to help you out. I'm going to do some more scooping of that fertilizer and get these trees watered up right now. And yeah, enjoy this beautiful day, early December. Hope y'all are doing well. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, I got plenty of playlists just like this one, going back almost 3 years now. So take care, y'all. Cheers.